blog post, and
Oh, yeah.
it's called
What's it called?
Ripple's XRP, A Cryptocurrency Revolution in 2025.
Wow. Catchy title.
It's from Trend This Talk.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them. They're pretty good.
They're good.
Yeah.
It seems like everyone is talking about XRP these days, right? Especially with Bitcoin breaking that $100,000 mark.
Yeah. I mean, wow. Yeah. 100,000. It's crazy.
It's wild. So in this deep dive, let's try to figure out what's driving this XRP excitement and maybe, I don't know, what the future might hold for it.
Sounds good. Yeah. Sounds good. What's interesting is it's not just like some random surge of interest. This blog post actually lays out like 4 pretty specific things that are really pushing XRP's momentum.
Oh, wow.
And I think they all hint at some pretty big changes that might be coming in the whole cryptocurrency world.
Okay, well, let's unpack these 4 factors then, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The first one they talk about is legal victories.
Mm-hmm.
So, the SEC lawsuit against Ripple,
Yeah.
that's been a big deal.
Right, absolutely. For sure.
But the blog post mentions a $125 million fine, and I guess that's way less than what people were expecting at first.
Right, yeah. It seems like that's actually boosted confidence for investors. Because at first they didn't know what was going to happen. It seems very negative.
Yeah.
But the fact that they just got a fine, it kind of seems like, okay, maybe this is a good sign. Like they are being accepted in some ways by the powers that be.
So it's not just about the money, but it's about what it means going forward for Ripple.
Exactly. It kind of shows that regulators are starting to accept it a little bit at least. And that's super important for any cryptocurrency. I mean, if it's ever going to become mainstream, it's got to be accepted, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of regulation, the post also mentions that with this new Trump administration, it could be way more crypto-friendly than before, especially since, Paul Atkins, who's a big crypto person, might be the head of the SEC.
Interesting.
So that's definitely something to watch.
Okay, so we got legal wins, and we might have some help from regulation.
Yeah.
What else is the blog post talking about in terms of this XRP surge?
Well, it's not just about what's happening around Ripple. The company is actually doing some interesting things too.
Okay.
They just launched this new stablecoin called RLUSD, and
A stablecoin. What of that?
so yeah, one of the biggest problems with cryptocurrencies, I think a lot of people agree, is that they're really volatile. Right?
Yeah.
The value can just go up and down like crazy. And that makes it a little bit risky, right? If you're trying to buy your groceries with it or
Your morning coffee.
yeah, your coffee, exactly. So stable coins, they're trying to fix that problem. They're cryptocurrencies, but they're designed to basically stay the same value.
Right.
And they do that by being linked to a regular currency, like the US dollar. So in this case, RLUSD would always be worth about $1 US.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, so that stability makes XRP way more useful for everyday stuff. Like you're saying, buying things online, sending money to someone in another country, all those things become much easier with a stablecoin.
Okay, but how does RLUSD connect to XRP's bigger goals? You know what I mean?
So think of XRP as this bridge, right, that connects all these different currencies around the world. And RLUSD, it's like this anchor. It makes sure everything is stable. So
Okay.
with this stablecoin, Ripple can actually offer a much better payment system. It would be more reliable, and it could attract way more people to use it, even businesses that might be scared of how much the price of crypto can change.
Okay, so we got legal stuff happening, potential changes in regulation, a new stablecoin.
Right.
What's the fourth factor, the fourth thing that's helping drive this XRP surge?
Oh, right. So we got to look at the bigger picture, right? The overall economy. The blog post talks about how inflation's going down and the Federal Reserve might actually cut interest rates.
Okay.
And when that happens, a lot of people start to look at cryptocurrencies as a better investment, compared to traditional stuff.
Yeah.
So XRP is benefiting from that too.
Okay, so we've got a lot of things going on here. Legal clarity, potential support from regulators, this new stablecoin thing to make it more stable.
Yeah.
And then we have a good economic backdrop, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think so.
Seems like there's a lot of potential for XRP. But what does all this mean for its future, The blog post mentioned some pretty exciting predictions, really exciting.
Right. Yeah, this one analyst, Crypto Bull, I think.
Oh, Crypto Bull. Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he thinks XRP could hit $33 per token by 2025.
Wow.
Which, think about that. If you had 10,000 XRP.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, you'd be looking at $330,000. of course, I got to remember these are just predictions, right? In crypto, I mean, you know better than anyone, it can be really unpredictable.
Yeah, it's volatile, right.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to be careful.
Don't get too hyped up.
Right, exactly. But even still, I mean, $33 a token, that's a huge jump from where it is now.
It's significant.
Yeah.
So what's making these people, like, Cryptable, what's making them so optimistic about XRP, besides all the things we've already talked about?
Yeah, well, a lot of it has to do with big investors, like institutional investors,
Okay.
including banks. They're starting to get really interested in XRP.
Interesting.
The blog post mentions this market strategist, Louis Navellier, and he's been seeing a lot of these institutions moving towards XRP.
Okay, so it's not just, like, regular people buying in. It's like the big players are starting to get involved.
Right, exactly, which, for a lot of people, that's a sign that XRP is, it's here to stay.
Yeah. Oh, and there's also all this talk about spot exchange traded funds, ETFs. Yeah, I've heard of those, but I don't really understand what they are. Could you explain that?
Yeah, so ETFs are basically like they're like baskets of investments that you can trade on the stock market, just like regular stocks, right?
Okay.
And they usually track like a specific thing. It could be, a whole bunch of companies or maybe like gold or something.
Right.
So a spot XRP ETF would track the price of XRP, which means it would make it way easier for regular people to invest in XRP without actually having to like buy it on a crypto exchange or anything.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it would be like way more accessible,
So it's like taking away all the complicated stuff that scares some people away from crypto.
Exactly, yeah. ETFs are familiar, they're regulated, so that can bring in a lot of new investors who might be hesitant to buy XRP directly.
Right. It makes it seem more, I don't know, like legit, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And that could really push the price up.
Okay, so we've talked about all these things driving XRP's surge, and we've even talked about some, like, big predictions for its future, right?
Yeah.
But I want to step back for a second. Beyond all the hype and the numbers, what makes XRP different? Like, what is its potential in the long run?
Right, right. So unlike a lot of other cryptos, which are more about like being a store of value, like digital gold,
Yeah.
XRP is built for a specific purpose, to make cross-border payments way easier and faster. And that's a huge market.
So it's not trying to replace the dollar or anything.
No, not at all.
It's about making it easier to use different currencies together.
Exactly. Right now, traditional cross-border payments, they can be such a pain, right?
Yeah, I've been there. It's slow. It's expensive.
Exactly. There are all these middlemen, these fees, and it takes forever. But Ripple wants to streamline that whole process.
Make it faster.
Instantaneous.
And cheaper.
Way cheaper.
Okay, so imagine I need to send money to, I don't know, my family in another country.
Right.
And it just arrives in their account, like seconds later, without losing a bunch of it to fees. That would be incredible.
That's the goal. And the best part is this isn't just like a dream, it's actually happening. More and more institutions are using Ripple's technology to do their cross-border transactions.
Wow, so this is already being implemented in the real world.
Absolutely. And it's only going to grow from here.
Okay, but I gotta ask, there must be some downsides, right? Like, no technology is perfect.
Oh, yeah, for sure. One of the biggest criticisms of Ripple is that they have, like, a lot of control over the XRP ledger.
Okay.
Unlike Bitcoin, which is, like, totally decentralized, Ripple Labs, the company behind XRP, they have a lot of influence over how the network works.
And some people might say that goes against the whole idea of cryptocurrency, right?
Right. The whole point of crypto is to take power away from these big institutions to make things decentralized.
Yeah.
And they worry that Ripple having so much control, it could make XRP more vulnerable to, I don't know, manipulation or even censorship.
Okay.
But
Clear.
plus, there are concerns about conflicts of interest because Ripple Labs owns so much XRP.
That's interesting. So what does Ripple say to all this?
Well, they argue that having some control is necessary, to make sure the network runs smoothly and efficiently.
Okay.
And they point to the fact that the XRP ledger has been working really well for years. No major problems, millions of transactions processed without a hitch.
So it's like a trade-off between control and stability.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And it's a big debate in the crypto world.
Right.
Some people believe that decentralization is the most important thing, even if it means things might be a little less efficient. Others prioritize speed and reliability, even if it means sacrificing some decentralization.
Okay, so are there any other challenges that XRP might face besides this control thing?
Well, even though it's being adopted more and more, Ripple still has competition, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
from other payment systems, both the traditional ones and other blockchain companies.
Right, right.
And the financial world, it can be pretty slow to change.
Yeah,
Convincing these big institutions to switch to something new, it can be really tough.
I can imagine.
So it's not enough to just have a good technology. You got to convince the whole industry to get on board.
Yeah, overcome all that resistance.
Exactly. And then there's the whole regulatory landscape, which, let's be honest, it's a mess.
Yeah, always change.
Governments all over the world are still trying to figure out what to do with crypto.
Right.
And any new rules or regulations could really impact how XRP is used.
Okay, so we've got technical challenges, we've got competition, we've got regulations.
Yep.
Sounds like a lot to deal with. But XRP has definitely come a long way, and there's a lot of excitement surrounding it. So let's say someone is really intrigued by all this, and they want to get involved with XRP.
Yeah.
What should they keep in mind before, jumping in?
Okay, so first things first, gotta remember, crypto is volatile.
Oh, for sure.
Prices can go up and down like crazy, and XRP is no exception. Don't make any rash decisions based on hype or price predictions.
Yeah, do your research.
Exactly. Take your time, understand the technology, learn about the risks, and also the potential rewards, of course.
So don't just chase the hype. Really understand what you're getting into.
Yeah. And remember, there's no guarantee that XRP will reach those crazy price targets. Crypto market is still pretty young, and anything can happen.
So weigh the potential upside against the risks. Is there anything else our listeners should be careful about? Like any red flags?
Yeah, so unfortunately, the crypto world is full of scams, and people trying to take advantage of others.
Oh, yeah, I've heard stories.
Yeah, so be very careful of anyone who promises guaranteed returns or tries to get you to invest in some weird project you've never heard of.
Okay.
Stick to reliable sources of information and always be skeptical. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
So do your research, verify everything, and don't fall for those get-rich-quick schemes.
Exactly. And remember, only invest what you can afford to lose. Because the truth is, crypto is high risk. You got to be prepared for the possibility of losing money.
Okay, so we've talked about XRP's technology, the potential it has, the challenges it faces, and how to approach it all carefully.
Right.
Is there anything else our listeners should keep in mind when thinking about XRP?
One last thought I want to leave you with. XRP is just one part of a much bigger picture. It's a cool project, a lot of promise there, but it's not the only game in town.
Yeah.
The crypto world is huge. There are tons of different projects out there tackling all sorts of problems.
So what you're saying is don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Explore different cryptocurrencies, learn about their technologies, and figure out what role they play in this whole changing financial world.
Right. The more you learn, the better you'll be able to navigate this crazy crypto world.
Exactly. So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep an open mind.
That's great advice. And on that note, why don't we move on to the final part of our XRP deep dive, where we'll wrap things up and leave our listener with some final thoughts. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. So we've covered a lot of ground talking about Ripple's XRP, huh?
Yeah, we really went deep,
We went from the initial excitement around XRP's surge to all the nitty-gritty details of how it works, its potential, the challenges.
You're right, the good and the bad.
We talked about legal stuff, potential changes in regulation, the whole stablecoin thing, and of course those crazy price predictions.
Yeah, we really tried to cover it all, didn't we?
We did. But before we wrap things up, I want to bring it back to our listener. If you could give them one key takeaway about XRP, what would it be?
That's a tough one. But if I had to choose, I'd say this. XRP, it's not just another cryptocurrency, okay? It's a technology with a very specific purpose.
Okay.
It's all about making cross-border payments way more efficient, way more affordable.
So it's not about replacing the dollar or the euro.
No, none of
It's about connecting them.
Exactly, yeah. It's about making money flow more easily between different countries, different currencies. And I think that's a big part of why there's so much excitement and investment around it.
Yeah, that makes sense. We always like to leave our listeners with something to think about, something to ponder.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
So given how fast things change in the crypto world, what are some things that could impact XRP's future in the next few years?
Oh, that's a great question. I think a big one is regulation, Will governments be cool with cryptocurrencies like XRP, or will they try to shut them down? What regulators decide to do will have a huge impact, not just on XRP, but the whole crypto market.
Right. And then there's the bigger question of how the whole global financial system will adapt to crypto?
Yeah.
Will we see it integrated smoothly, or will the big institutions push back?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's all happening right now. We're watching the future of finance being written, and XRP is definitely a part of that story.
It's exciting and a little scary at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
But for our listeners, remember, knowledge is power. The more you learn about crypto, blockchain technology, all of this, the better prepared you'll be.
Couldn't agree more. Do your research, stay informed, and never stop learning. That's the best way to navigate this crazy world of crypto.
It is. It really is. And if you want to keep learning, we've got a bunch of resources on our blog.
Oh, yeah, definitely check those out.
You can find the link in the description below. And, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future deep dives.
Yeah, we've got some good ones coming up.
We do. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.